the Ascension 21 studios. I'm here with Ricky Compton for our departmental profile. Ricky is our infrastructure director, but he really holds many hats because I don't know what it is that you don't do, quite honestly. You really know a little bit about everything that's going on, so I'm glad that you're taking the time to sit here and talk to us today. Good to see you.
Thanks. Good to see you.
I asked you, just to give you the lowdown, I said, Ricky, what do you want to come in here and talk to me about? And I asked him to give me sort of a list of some of the things that were going on in infrastructure. And the list was so long, clearly we're not going to be able to get through everything. But there's a lot of great things going on infrastructure-wise. So just to give people a little, like a lowdown of what it is that you do, what does the infrastructure director do?
So I serve at the pleasure of the parish president, and I have several direct reports. So the planning and development director, the building official, the recreation director, the utilities director, the custodial manager, the facility manager. Used to have the jail, but we have handed that to the sheriff to manage, but if any major issues come up with that. And then anything else that I get asked to do.
So just to give you an idea, that's a lot. That covers basically, I think, just about everything except drainage. But in a lot of cases, it does also handle drainage as well. I've
dipped my toes in drainage.
You dip your toes in drainage and everything else. And I asked you, what are some of the things that are going on in Ascension Parish? And you've given me a list, but there's some exciting things happening. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of infrastructure being built. Mm-hmm. I want to start off talking about the Santa Ma Community Center. So that's co-located with a new Santa Ma branch of the Ascension Parish Library System. That's currently under construction?
Correct. We have a partnership with the Ascension Parish Library, and we are spending about $8.5 million on this project. We've been working on it for several years. If you drive down 431, you'll see the construction is underway, and we're very excited about this project. It'll be the first co-located community center with a library in the state of Louisiana.
What does that mean, the community center? What's going to be in there?
So in 2016, we lost the Santa Ma Community Center in the flood, and that was a very highly used facility. And so in our new building, we're going to have the same sort of setup with a stage, ability to host receptions and gatherings of large parties. We'll have 2 classroom spaces, kind of a kitchen prep area. We're going to have an attached airnasium where we can do outdoor covered things. We'll have probably some pickleball courts, but it's also going to serve as a point of distribution if we ever have another emergency, where we can distribute tarps and water and MREs to our citizens from that location.
And when do we expect that to be completed?
That is a great question that I don't know the answer to.
But it's going to take some time.
Yes, ma'am.
And where do the funds raised, where do the funds come from for a project of this magnitude?
Primarily, we got the funds from the American Rescue Plan. So our COVID money is a huge source of this. We also have some funds from FEMA from the 2016 flood.
So those are one-time funds that we received that we had to use. And this is what that was.
Correct.
Went to use for. The Animal Welfare Center. Now, this is something that we hear a lot about. Mm-hmm. We've covered this in our news block segment, saying that, hey, I think that we've discovered a location. We've just purchased a plot of land, mm-hmm. right, of the site of where this is going to be.
Yes.
Where is it going to be?
So it's near the intersection of Weber City Road and Roddy Road. I don't know, a couple tenths of a mile off of that intersection. The property as it existed extended all the way to Airline Highway, but we just bought the northern piece that fronts on Weber City Road, so that's where our access will be from.
So right now we're going out for an RFQ. That's a request for qualifications.
Yes.
And that's about to be advertised, and we're looking for an architecture firm to design the new facility.
Yes.
The budget for that?
It's about $8 to $9 million, and that's speculative because it's based on the animal tax that the citizens voted to pass. And so we're speculating over the life of that tax, how much we're going to have to do the design and the build of that structure.
Butch Gore Park.
Butch Gore Park is very exciting. We just built our first turf fields. We built some new brick backstops and some netting. We built our new restroom facility and some walking trails. We spent about $2.6 million, again, of American Rescue Plan dollars on that project. They played on the field this past spring.
Softball fields.
Softball fields. And we'll do a grand opening here in the fall when we do a project closeout, because there's still some minor things left to be done.
Well, that's a very exciting stuff as well.
It
you
is.
did say exciting. That's all great things. Talking about restrooms, I do want to say one thing that, I know you and I've talked about this in the past. I'm just kind of going off script a little bit. Not that we had a script, but youth tend to like mess up the restrooms. What's up with that?
That is a rude statement.
But I mean, but we have had problems in the past of people vandalizing, and I
You
think I
meant
said
you as the imperial you, not me personally. Yes, vandalism.
Youth, not you. You. I said youth, but not you. Vandalizing of restrooms.
Yes, we spend an inordinate amount of time replacing toilets and sinks and soap dispensers. People catch things on fire. We're repainting and rebuilding. So we went through a period where we locked all the bathrooms and basically said, enough's enough. We have to get our hands around this. We've slowly started reopening some of them, but we're currently working with our safety department on implementing Wi-Fi in our parks, which will enable us to implement security cameras and hopefully catch these vandals when they strike again.
All right. So please pay attention. Don't vandalize the bathrooms and the parks, for goodness sakes. Youth Legacy Park.
Mm-hmm.
That is off Duplessis on 621. They have a new all-inclusive playground and a ninja course.
Correct. So again, American Rescue Plan dollars enabled us to build what the state, we have the largest inclusive playground in the state. It's a ninja course where you can kind of run an obstacle course. There's a timer where you can run a 40-yard dash. The playground is amazing. If you haven't been there, I would highly encourage you to take your kids and check out that park. There's a nice big long walking trail, and we have some other plans for the future for that park. So.
And then what about stuff is going on at the state fairgrounds in Donaldsonville?
So yeah, the State Fairgrounds in Donaldsonville, we've done a major park improvement project on the 3 small fields where we did some brick backstops, some netting. We replaced all the lights with LED lights. And then we have another planning project where we're using some American Rescue Plan dollars and some recreation funds. And that's going to be a $1.8 million improvement where we're going to build a covered arenasium similar to what we're building in Sanoma, with covered basketball with lighting and pickleball courts and some new bathrooms and a multi-use field where there's currently a baseball field that's not being utilized at all.
So how much money from American Rescue dollars did we receive for these projects, would you say?
So we received right at $24 million. Half of that was used for lost sales tax funds.
Okay.
The other half, the parish president allowed us to create a list of projects that we wanted to go after, and those have primarily been recreation projects.
Fantastic. And so that's going to be great and use for everybody in Ascension Parish. Armory plans. Converting the National Guard Armory in Donaldsonville. So another big project going on. Lots of stuff is going on in Donaldsonville, by the way.
Yes, so the National Guard Armory is right across the street from the historic courthouse. It was used by the clerk of court for her file storage. And when we built our brand new courthouse right across the street here, she moved all of her files out of the armory into the courthouse. And so that made that building usable for us. We went in, we did some investigation. There is some lead paint, there is some asbestos, so we need to remediate that. We need to put HVAC in. There's no AC in the building. It's going to need new floors and paint, electrical, plumbing upgrades. We've been applying for grants, we've been applying for capital outlay, and I am happy to say that I have about $4 million that we're going to put into the armory in Donaldsonville and build our first community center on the West Bank. And we're hopeful to get that project RFQ'd, find an architect, a designer to help us with that space before the end of this year and start construction next year.
Wow, that's going to be big.
It's very nice.
I mean, there's so much going on in Donaldsonville. I feel like every week we've just got more things that we can tout of exciting projects and things that are happening over there. Mississippi River Levee Trail.
So during COVID, we applied for a grant to build a trail on the Mississippi River Levee. We applied and we were awarded almost $2.6, $2.8 million. We have to put a match that puts the budget up to about $3.2 million. But we're going to have a trailhead at Highway 44 in River Road. We're going to have a trailhead at the Homeless House, and then a trailhead at Joseph U. Pierre Senior Park in Darrow, where we're hopeful to build another bathroom.
Okay, and then do we have any timeline of that or know anything?
So we
Can you
were
give me
just
more?
notified that the money has been awarded.
Okay.
So we're looking to go out to RFQ for the design for that trail here in the very short term.
And who works with us on that outside of, you know, the design company or, you know, the architectural
So
firm?
once we get a design in hand, we go to DOTD, get all of that approved, and they can bid the contract out.
And then do you have a lot of experience with any of these sorts of trails?
No.
Working with that? I mean, because that's a different sort of animal to kind of deal with the trails and figuring out who's going to, you know, explore those and getting them people out there, out and about.
It is. I just know from my previous life that, you know, in
Working
Hilton.
in parks.
Well,
and,
no,
you know,
working in urban planning, that in Hilton Head, South Carolina, the most popular recreational amenity is not the golf course, it's the walking trails. And we are woefully deficient in Ascension Parish with walking trails. And so that's why every park project we do, we are adding sidewalks and walking trails. We're looking to connect points of interest with walking and multi-use trails.
And so how long will this trail be?
That's a great question that I don't know the answer to, but
It'll be a nice
Google
size.
it, from 44 to Darrow.
It'll be a nice size.
Right.
The Roger J. Cluot Park plans.
So yes, so if you're familiar with Sandomal, most people call it Sandomal Park, but it's Roger J. Cluot Park. Historically, that's where our recreation office has been. We recently had a surplus sale where we've gotten rid of that office building. There was some other junk and trash and debris that we're going to remove. That will enable us to get into that park and start making some plans for improvement. We have ideas of what we want to do, but we want to get the community involved in that master plan process. You know, I think maybe accessing the bayou there with a kayak launch would be awesome. We think we need to add another basketball court, maybe another volleyball court, maybe some pickleball courts. So we've got some ideas. We just want to bounce them off the community and see what they think.
Perfect. So we can expect to reach out to the community and ask for their input at some point in time. Prairieville Park plans?
Yeah, so that's the park where we built a dog park here with the Leadership Ascension team in the last couple of years. That's where our adult softball leagues play. We're currently working with the Ascension Fair Association on contemplating what we can do with the property they own right there in the front of the park. And we're working with a design firm to do a master plan for that park as well, which could include possibly turfing that field to eliminate some of the maintenance issues that we've had in the past.
And then I want to wrap this thing up by talking a little bit about the old gym over at Lamar-Dixon.
So when we moved in here in 2020, that building had seen some repair work, but nothing significant. They kind of put Band-Aids on it. And now here we are 4 years later, and we realize that there's some significant renovations that need to happen to that gym. When we host events, the HVAC drips on the floor, and primarily that's because the roof leaks. The roof is hot and there's no insulation. The AC is cold. It drips onto the floor. The floors need to be replaced. And then the Lamar-Dixon drainage drains towards the gym. We need to figure out how to resolve that issue. So, you know, that's another $2 to $3 million project just to get that gym.
Okay, well, who would fund that?
So Recreation is funding that. Recreation and maintenance.
And then is that something that we're getting ready to start, or that's just something that we have high hopes in the future for?
We RFQ'd. We've selected a firm to help us come to some construction drawings of what we're going to need to do. And then once those drawings are done, we'll put that out to bid.
Well, some exciting stuff going on. You just seem to be a plethora of knowledge today.
Well, listen, I'm a plethora of knowledge every day.
You, indeed you are, Ricky.
Just today it's on camera.
Well, it's good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. And of course, lots of things are happening in and around Ascension Parish. And if you want to know what's going on, just stay tuned to Ascension 21. We've got all the information you need to know. Thanks for joining us.